Hello everyone, welcome to my presentation on the peer-to-peer design pattern. Today we are going to explore how this decentralized network model revolutionizes the way we connect and share information. So let's dive in. I am Muhammad Asadullah Trab and these are my groupmates Muhammad Saad and Insar Ahmed. So what is peer-to-peer? Well, it's a network architecture where each device or peer can act both as a client and a server. Picture a web of interconnected devices, all communicating directly with each other without relying on a central server. Examples of P2P networks include BitTorrent for file sharing and Bitcoin for cryptocurrency transactions. P2P network empower users by decentralizing control and allowing for direct communication between peers. This means that users can share resources and information without depending on a single point of authority. It's like a digital democracy where every device has a voice. This is an example of a peer-to-peer model. Here you can see there are different devices that are interconnected and there is no central server. So these devices connect and talk to each other in this network. Now you might wonder why bother with P2P? What are the advantages? Firstly, P2P networks are incredibly scalable. Unlike traditional client-server architectures where a single server can become overwhelmed with too many clients, P2P networks distribute the load across all peers. As more peers join, the network becomes even stronger and more resilient. Secondly, they are fault tolerant. With no central point of failure, the network remains operational. Even if some peers go offline, in a traditional client-server setup, if the server goes down, the entire network suffers. But in a P2P network, communication can continue uninterrupted between other peers. Lastly, they are cost-effective. Since there is no need for expensive centralized server, P2P network can save a lot of money, especially for large-scale applications. This makes them ideal for applications like file sharing, where the cost of maintaining servers can be prohibitive. In summary, P2P networks often offer scalability, fault tolerance, and cost effectiveness, making them compelling choices for various applications in today's digital landscape.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Muhammad Saad and I will present peer-to-peer architecture. Let's take a closer look at the architecture of a peer-to-peer network. We have nodes which are essentially devices in the network acting as peers. Then there is the overlay network, which is a logical network built on top of the physical network, and we have different types of peer-to-peer networks such as pure P2P where every node is equal, and hybrid peer-to-peer where some nodes are more important than others. Now we move on peer-to-peer versus client server. Now how does compare peer-to-peer to the traditional client server model? In a client server setup, you have a central server handling all requests, which can be easier to manage but also a single point of failure. On the other hand, peer-to-peer is decentralized, making it more robust but also harder to manage. It is like comparing a single powerful leader to a group of equals working together. Now we move on a picture of client server versus peer-to-peer network. Client server model, centralized system where clients connect to a central server and multiple clients can connect with one server. For example, web browsing where browser requests a web page from a web server, and peer-to-peer network, decentralized system where each client can act as both a server and a client. Multiple clients can connect directly with each other. For example, file sharing networks like Bitternet, where each participant can download and upload files directly with other participants. Now we move on peer-to-peer real-world applications. Let's explore some real-world applications of peer-to-peer from file sharing platforms like Bitternet, Napster, and communication tools like WhatsApp, Skype. Peer-to-peer is everywhere. Even cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin rely on peer-to-peer networks for transactions. And let's not forget about collaborative tools like Google Docs, which use a hybrid peer-to-peer model to enable real-time collaborations.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Isar Ahmed, and today's topic of discussion is P2P design patterns. So, first of all, here we have a basic P2P Java code. Now, let's get our dirty hands with some code. Here's a basic example of P2P communication in Java. We have a peer class handling both sending and receiving messages, along with a peer server class to handle incoming connections. This code demonstrates how peer can communicate directly with each other without a central server. Alright, let's move on to the code walkthrough. Let's break down the code we just saw. The peer class serves as the main class for our P2P network, while the peer server class handles incoming connections. We have methods for sending messages and listening for messages. These codes form the backbone of our P2P code. Let's move on to the challenges in P2P. Of course, P2P isn't without its challenges. Security can be a concern as it is harder to secure a decentralized network compared to a centralized one. Maintaining consistency across all peers can also be tricky. And while P2P networks are generally scalable, some implementations may struggle under high loads. Let's wrap up our topic. In conclusion, peer to peer is a powerful and versatile network architecture with numerous advantages. As decentralized technologies like blockchain continue to rise, the importance of P2P will only grow. I encourage you to explore further and see how P2P can revolutionize your own projects. Now, I'll open the floor for any questions you may have. Before we wrap up, here are some resources for further reading. You can delve deeper into the P2P network with books like Designing Data Intensive Application by Martin Klapman, or explore various articles and official documentation. Feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions after the presentation. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you found this presentation on peer-to-peer design patterns informative and inspiring. If you have any questions or would like to discuss further, feel free to contact me. Have a great day.